Okay, well, welcome. I'll just run through a bit about what we're going to do here. Many of you have been to many retreats, but for some of you this will be your first retreat, so I'll explain what the role of the retreat is. It's a kind of chance to recharge our batteries, a chance normally we're so burrowing down into our own individual areas of interest or our lines of research, our theoretical concerns. And this is a chance to come back and meet other members of the network in a safe and playful space. So it's a chance to carry out develop our ideas better, and also to identify hot topics and analytical challenges and emerging debates. And that was the slides from last year. And last year we had our retreat in the wonderful chimp enclosure at Edinburgh Zoo, and at the end I had some kind of forward look slides which I'm going to reproduce for you here. We haven't brought the pandas with us unless they're under the table, but we flagged that STS or STIS was doing very well in terms of a whole set of new concepts coming forwards, and how they're being applied, for example, to understand markets or infrastructures and social materiality, and different approaches to expertise. These were the hot topics. And I flagged one of the things that's shaping the STS at Edinburgh, which is the engagement of a whole array of new research foci. So, for example, at the law school, we've got the Mason Institute doing stuff on biomedical ethics and law, as well as the people doing stuff on IT and law. But we've got people in Edinburgh College of Art doing stuff on interactive design. Public health, we've got Hajar here from that. So a whole range of new transdisciplinary collaborations, but within the social sciences and between the social sciences and natural science and engineering were characterizing our work. And STS ideas seem to be the intellectual glue that held that diverse community. But that's something of a challenge, that very wide disciplinary collaboration that we're trying to address. And we flagged a number of upcoming grand challenges. Big data was one of them, and the whole area of digital social research. I was suggesting that the next edgy technology was going to be the brain program, and maybe that hasn't quite happened yet, but I think maybe next year it's going to happen. But the other thing I flagged as an issue that we wanted to discuss was the relationship between science and technology studies and innovation studies, and linked to that is work on science and technology policy, but also on technology management. And I flagged it because, of course, when we started this program, these were not different traditions. When we go back to the beginnings of the science and technology studies program, Hughes was there along with Pinch and Biker and God knows whom, you know. So Chris Freeman was a frequent visitor to Edinburgh and an external examiner many times and a referee for our work. But actually over the years, we're kind of, as we've matured, there's a sense that those two traditions have moved apart. And we felt that one of the things we wanted to do was to explore the relationship between those traditions and see whether it was an area of tension and antagonism, or whether it was an area of creative tension. And so I'd suggested that as one of the themes we might look at. And actually, over the year, we've been part of a set of discussions with Ari Rip, who was at University of Twente, which is Johann's alma mater, is not quite the right word, but a place where he spent some years. Ari Rip and Mario Baggioli and Hara van Lente, who's going to take over from Wiebe Biker, running the Maastricht Center. So a group of us have set up an international research network which is looking at the relationship between science and technology studies and innovation studies. And we're part of this network, the International Network of Science, Technology and Innovation Studies. So there is some discussion. There's going to be a session at East coming up on this, but we're very pleased that we can actually carry forward that as one of the key themes that underpin the debate at this retreat. And so this retreat has the theme of bridging science and technology studies and innovation studies. And then we were delighted to hear that our colleague, Johann Schott, had been appointed director of the Science Policy Research Unit. Because if one had to say which place has salience in the area of innovation studies, it's undoubtedly Science Policy Research Unit, Spruce, Sussex. And it was exciting that Spru had chosen for its director not somebody from a technology management or a conventional evolutionary economic perspective, but somebody from a technology studies perspective who spent the last 10 years studying, I think it's not the history of technology, but studying history through the lens of technology. So he's the perfect keynote speaker, and we were very pleased that he was able to come. Now, I'll just say a few words about Johan, but maybe you better correct it, because this is my just my personal, the history of my interactions with you. I mean, Johan was, I don't know what you did before you went to Twente, but at Twente, Johan got in league with some dangerous people. One of the dangerous people was Arie Rip. And Arie Rip has had a very interesting project to try and link traditions of STS with other traditions, and in particular with evolutionary economics. And the key concept that was done with in the early stages was this concept of constructive technology assessment. And I would say that the whole subsequent trajectory of the work that we now associate perhaps with people like Heels, with transition management, strategic management, the roots of that are in the discussion paper that the ideas that Johan developed around constructive technology assessment and that very influential book, Managing Technology in Society. So Johan is at the starting point of this endeavour. And I think it's interesting when I say STS wants to have a link into innovation studies. It's clear that there are also colleagues within innovation studies who see a benefit from a more productive relationship with more historical and sociological work. So it's a kind of two-way street that's going on here. But Twente was the place where there was a systematic attempt to explore the links between the more micro-sociological perspective and broader understandings of the world that drew on innovation studies, evolutionary economics, and other similar perspectives. So it's really crucial that Johan's here. But as I say, to my amazement, Johan, we worked together very closely on the Social Shaping Technology European Network, and then to my amazement, Johan decided he was going to do history. And he spent some years doing a series of I would say, encyclopedic histories, both of technology in the Netherlands, and more recently, I hear, European technology, but a history of Europe viewed through the lens of technology. So he's actually bringing together perhaps the three themes, the three elements which drive this retreat, because there is a session this afternoon about history, and Johan is therefore not going to talk about bridging science and technology studies and innovation studies. He's going to talk to us about science and technology studies, history and innovation studies. So I will hand over to you. And you need to take this